Hello! Today we are back on Baijiu, and it's about exploring styles which are out there, but which are not really that common or really sometimes explored by any more than one distillery. Okay, so with Baijiu, and especially with the stuff you get overseas, most of what you're going to see is going to be dominated by basically three categories. You've got the light aroma Baijiu, beloved in northern China, including Beijing. You have got the strong aroma Baijiu, beloved pretty much everywhere else. And you have got the sauce aroma style, particularly Maotai, beloved by big events and collecting and bribery, basically. But beyond those big three, you have the sort of very local nature of Baijiu means there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different smaller individual styles out there, which are a little bit different and very much worth exploring. So today we're doing three of them. We're doing the so-called Phoenix aroma style. We're doing the Lao Bai Gan aroma style, which is a kind of subclass of light aroma, but not really. And the extra strong aroma style. I should say there are other big categories out there I really want to try. The sesame aroma style, the rice aroma style, and popular in the Southeast. And I haven't found ones I want to buy yet, but they're coming. One of these days, they're coming. Okay, but let's get started on these three. Get these poured. All right, maybe I'll start by talking about our Phoenix aroma option. Focus, camera. This is Xi Feng Jiu from. Oh, where is this from? It's from the northwest, Shaanxi. I'm sorry. In the northwest of China. And the fun okay, so I will talk about these as we get to them. Let's just focus on Xi Feng for right now. Xi Feng Jiu. So I will put the I don't even know what to call it. The mash bills, the grain percentages down below when I get them. I'm having trouble finding them at the moment, but what I can find I will put below. So the thing about Phoenix aroma is, to some extent, like sauce aroma, it is a kind of combination between light aroma style and strong aroma style, but kind of going in the very opposite direction. So it's pit fermented in these sort of big mud pits, like strong aroma style. But like light aroma, the fermentation time is very quick. We're talking 10 days, maybe 2 weeks tops. And unlike strong aroma, they will actually clean out the pits on occasion. So basically, you're trying to go for a much more clean distillate with this style, but while keeping the fundaments of the basic raw materials of strong aroma intact. And let's get going on this. Okay, Xi Feng Jiu Baijiu, probably bottled 2020 or so. Bottled at 55% alcohol by volume. On the nose. Oh, it is fruity. It's very fruity. Lots of pineapple, lots of orange. There's a little bit of a rock dust kind of thing. Like it just kicked up a cloud of rock dust. Little bit of fennel or anise, maybe. I'm gonna lean towards anise actually. And those aspects of it really remind me of strong aroma style, where Wu Lang Ye, Lu Zhe Lao Zhao, those guys. But much cleaner, if that makes sense. Well, I mean, of course it makes it. That's what the style is, right? But then there's little hints of stuff which is more like light aroma. There's a touch of of like fresh potato in here. Like you just dug up some potatoes; they're still kind of green. There's some white tea, some strawberry notes in this. A little like just straight up acetone. A little bit of marshmallow in there too. Maybe what are the no the what are the little bird things? You know, the marshmallow peeps. That is in this. Yeah, it really smells like just a softer style of strong aroma baijiu. All right, let's see what happens on the palate. Here we go. Same kind of story, actually. Um, Very crisp, very refreshing, easygoing. Pineapple, orange, strawberry, bubblegum, rock notes kind of mingling with the bubblegum. And yeah, just like some straight up acetone in there, but nice. Yeah, and that root vegetable kind of freshly dug up carrot potato kind of thing, that's in there. The aniseed thing is happening. Um, I like this. It's not. I mean, it's kind of like the some of the light aromas we tried. It's not profoundly complex. It's certainly not. Doesn't have the like little nooks and details as I was getting in some of the older Luza Lao Jiaos. But what this is really, really lovely and fruity and really accessible. Tell you what, it is 55%. It's kind of feeling it, but at this moment in time, if I were to like just pick out any baijiu to throw at a Westerner, an American, to kind of not completely scare them away from the style, I didn't want to throw them in the deep end, I might pick this. In fact, I would probably pick this. Nice. And it's not that expensive either. That's 2 squirts. It's going to need at least 3 squirts. Let's see if that's enough. So if you're just joining me on the channel, hello. The reason why I'm adding water isn't because you necessarily have to do that. It's a way of kind of putting pressure on the spirit, seeing how it reacts when when the solution is messed with. You can also use just like leave it out over time, but this is kind of a faster, dirty way of doing it. That's about where it needs to be. Okay, let's move on. Sample number 2 is Lao Bai Gan style, which appropriately is from Hengshui, Lao Bai Gan, which is from Hebei province in the north, so further east from Shaanxi or from most of the other white aroma or light aroma style producers. And the story with this is, well, first of all, 55% alcohol by volume, once again. So the story with this is it's very much kind of made in a light aroma style, but the chew is different. So the back up a little bit. The chew are these little like bio bombs that you're using to ferment your baijiu, but you're also it's also containing bacteria and fungus. So it's kind of creating you're kind of creating an entire biological environment for your grains to develop in, for lack of a better vocabulary for talking about this. So chew in this case is not the kind of the peas and the sorghum and all that other stuff you're getting with the other light aroma styles, whether in Beijing or Taiwan or whatever. This time it's pretty much all wheat based. So that's the determining factor here. And otherwise pretty similar. Fermentation in stone and fairly done fairly quickly. Okay, on the nose. Okay, that's interesting. So, well, I mean, so first of all, it's extremely quiet on the nose. But it's subtly like peaty? I know that sounds weird. I mean, it's not peat, but the signals for peat in my brain are kind of going off like crazy. Like that's, in a way, this reminds me of the Bruichladdich I had a couple of months ago. It's not actually peaty, but the signals, other signals for peat are still there. So like, I don't know, gestures towards Isla, I guess is what this smells like. Beyond that, it's a very, very quiet nose. There's some like orange peel, more kind of rotting orange peel this time. Some cheesy notes like camembert, camembert rind really. Rocks, sea breeze, and yes, something nodding towards peat or Isla or something like that, but it isn't. Extremely weird. I'm fascinated by this. Okay, let's see what happens on the palate. Okay, like a lot of the light aroma Baijius I've had, this is very soft and kind of sweet and easygoing in style in the mouth. There are the funky notes here cannot be denied. There's a lot of rocks. There's a lot of like the same that camembert rind thing, and like old bubble gum, like bubble gum that's had the flavor all chewed out of it. But the sweetness is really what's kind of attractive here. Yeah, like a kind of cotton candy sort of thing. It's fun. It's quiet. It's kind of sweet and easy. My only complaint is that there's not really more going on than that. Hello, little Baijiu. And this is also, like, again, why I add water. I'm just going to, basically give this a slap in the face made of H2O and see if that kicks any more notes out of this. Even if you wouldn't necessarily do that while you're drinking it. Oh, half squirt or so. There we go. All right, we will come back to that. All right, and now the third sample on our list, extra strong aroma style. Jiu Gui Jiu. This has a little bit of a reputation for being extra stanky, I think is the way one would put it. So the story behind extra strong aroma style is you're basically using the same kind of foundations as strong aroma style, except you're using chew of different sizes. So you've got your big chew made of sorghum and wheat and stuff, and you've also got I think the small chew, which I think are a little bit more medicinal, more made of rice. I think someone if you know, correct me in the comments down below. Anyways, different kinds of chew is kind of the difference maker here. And let's see what we got here. This particular example, Jiu Gui Jiu is from Hunan province, which is it's in the south. It's kind of in the middle of the south of China, but further east than you would think of, like Guizhou. It's actually it's right east of. It started in Guizhou and head east. That's basically where you're talking about here. And we shall see what we got going on here. Also bottled at 2020, but 54% alcohol by volume, so a little bit weaker than the previous two. But it is not weak on the nose. Yow. Yeah. Oh my god. I have to throw this at my wife after I finish filming. She's gonna hate it. It is intensely like there's an intense rotting fruit kind of note to this, like rotting pineapple, rotting oranges, rotting like raisins. If can raisins rot? I guess they can, right? And you could mix all that up with like Gruyere cheese and rocks, and there's no way around it. There's a vomit note on this. There's absolutely a like you did a little bit of exercising a little too early after lunch, and you went a little, and that's kind of what this smells like. But nice, but also not nice at the same time. Some black licorice as well, like a subtle, almost candied fruit note, along with the rotting stuff. Like those little strawberry candies and like the strawberry looking wrapper. There's a little bit of that in the nose here. Extremely interesting. I am intrigued and also terrified to taste this, but we're gonna go ahead. Oh. Huh. So it's actually, I wasn't expecting. Okay, so it's actually pretty simple in what it's doing on the palate. It's very intense, and it's very interesting, but the actual flavor profile is pretty darn simple. So we're talking lots of minerality, lots of like just soapstone, orange pith, pineapple, but not the fruit, like pineapple shell, if that makes sense. Gruyere cheese, maybe some Comte in there, some brie, aniseed, and yeah, maybe a little vomit. Let me check on that again. Yeah, just a little bit of a little bit, but mostly nice. There's actually quite a bit of sweetness on this as well. So kind of following on with the theme of the previous two, this brings some kind of cotton candy sweetness kind of character to it. But at the same time, it's actually has a fairly grippy, how do I put this? Dryness is not the word. Yeah, like sweet. Let's go with sweet and dry kind of character on the back end. I don't know if that makes sense. Mostly nice. And there's a no. You know what? Okay, this reminds me. There is a chocolate sour thing on this. With dark chocolate, you will sometimes get like from Uganda, say, you will get a little bit of a sour note mixed in with your kind of your traditional chocolatey notes, your bitterness. There's a little bit of that in here, and that actually reminds me quite a bit of some sauce aroma Baijiu. Really, I've had one, and that's Motai Prince, but it's kind of reminding me of that a little bit. So that's interesting. It's fun. Not the most complex spirit I've had in the world, but it's absolutely it's a laugh. This is one you can introduce your friends to and watch their face. All right, so I'm going to give this at least 4 squirts. See where that gets us. Ooh. And we'll go back through. All right. Jesus. That may have blown out my palate. Okay. Back to the Xi Feng Jiu. All right, let's see what I can get now that my mouth and my nose have been completely stunned by the Jiu Gui Jiu. This is so... You know what? I'm tempted to buy a glass of this stuff. The Jiu Gui Jiu, just as a kind of like palate cleanser, if like, because it almost functions the same way as like I don't know, pickled ginger or something. It just it just completely, it's so extreme in the flavor profile that just immediately brings out the little details and nuances of everything else they're going to taste afterwards. Because now I'm sort of starting to appreciate this Xi Feng Jiu a little bit more on the nose. There's a little bit more of like a new potato note on this on the nose. And the rocks kind of come through a little bit more too. Still not super complex, but you know it's nice, and it's I mean it's bringing the fruitiness that I appreciate in a lot of the stronger strong aroma Baijius, but it's just not as aggressive and tough. All right, on the palate of this, okay. So it's still, most of what this is doing is still very fruity and very, by Baijiu standards, very easy. But like with water, the rocks come in, and also like the finish and the mouthfeel improve a little bit. A little bit more of a marshmallow note happening. Yeah, I like this. It's quite good, and beyond that, this is very crushable. You know, some of these you try them and you immediately see why businessmen can get themselves into trouble with this stuff. Like this is very easy to drink. So I'm going to give this. It's not the most complex thing I've ever had, but I will give it an 84-point score. And yeah, I like it. I kind of like all of these, but for vastly different reasons. Especially the two on the end. But let's go to the one in the middle now. The Hengshui Lao Bai Gan, now with a little bit of water. This was the one that seemed very quiet before, but also kind of like quite sweet. So let's see what happened on the with some water on the nose. Okay, so it smells pretty much exactly the same, meaning I'm constantly asking myself, what is that? Yeah, it really smells like peaty Isla, but not. And I don't know how to explain it better than that. That's kind of what I'm getting. That is uncanny. Okay, moving on to the palate. Okay, on the palate, maybe a hair less sweet this time, less overtly sweet at least. And gets kind of more minerally and creamy on the mouthfeel. And the finish gets better. Yeah, this is good. I had given an 83 with my notes, but I don't think it's that good. This is an 82. This is a classic 82 plus for me. It's still a hair bit basic. I still want a little bit more to get interested in, but I mean, it's delicious, and kind of easygoing and fun and weird, and that nose is just so evocative, but I don't know what it is. So 82 plus. We finish up with we're back to the Jiu Gui Jiu. Here we go. God. Yeah. Pretty much, I mean, mostly the same as what it was before. I wish I had like small pets that I could make them smell this, because the nose is so extreme. Maybe a little bit more rotting fruit now, a little bit more aniseed, a little bit more of that, but not a whole lot of development. It's the same stuff. On the palate, here we go. Huh. Okay, this time, unlike the previous two, kind of the opposite of the previous two, water actually weakens the finish. It makes it more shallow, makes this feel kind of more watery. And do not say I drowned this. I did not. I did not drown this. Yeah, just kind of, I mean, the flavors when they initially arrive are so weird and intense. And then, like with water, they kind of fade away really quickly, and certainly don't get too far back in my mouth. It does bring out the aniseed a little bit more, but that's about it. But I think it might still win this. Just because of the sheer massive flavors involved. I'm gonna ding it for the fact that it doesn't really seem to like to swim very well, but I'm still gonna give this an 85 minus out of 100, which makes it the best Baijiu here for my taste. But I mean, that being said, don't necessarily go run out to buy this stuff. Know what you're getting into. This is some stinky shit. That's what you're looking for. Here it is. Okay, so Phoenix Aroma Xi Feng Jiu gets a 84 out of 100. This is actually really, it's not the winner. I don't think it's the best Baijiu here, but it might be one of the best ways into Baijiu, straight up. The Hengshui Lao Bai Gan Aroma gets a 82 plus for being a little bit beguiling and very delicious. And the Jiu Gui Jiu, God help us all, gets an 85 minus. And that's what we got. Thanks for watching, and cheers.